worked out. I
Yes, we're
tried.
trying.
No, they always do. It'll always be change. I was just talking to somebody and I'm like, how do some people make it in this world if they can't change?
That's right. Change is inevitable.
Yes.
That's been a quote that has guided me my whole professional career.
It gets me in my personal life too.
Right?
Okay, so it's the first meeting with our new board. So we'll introduce everybody today, but happy September, everybody. See if I can get this to change. Okay, so first of all, we're going to do roll call. So I'm just going over this because I never really understood it. So one by one, we're just going to come off and say that we're a present or non-present so that we could get roll call. So I'll start. And Cassie, I'm president. I'm here.
Professor Tanisha Hall, a co-faculty advisor.
Professor Wilkinson, co-faculty advisor.
Tatiana, treasurer.
Mary Evans, Vice President.
Sarah Jones, learner experience representative.
Okay, is that everybody? If not, you could just put your information in the chat. I know some people can't always come off mute. And then normally right now we would do the approval of minutes, but we have not received them yet from the previous secretary. So we'll just approve them next meeting. And welcome to fall term, everybody. I hope it's starting out great for everybody, even with all the changes, that everybody understands everything will be worked through and we're not just going to fall in the cracks like some people feel like. But happy fall, y'all. So today we're just going to go over the new board directives. We're going to talk about old news, new news, some changes, the mid-year conference, volunteer opportunities, walkathon, NCLEX, and then we're going to do a couple of NCLEX questions with the advisors, and then time for any questions, and then, of course, when the next meeting is. Here's a motivational quote. Although your educational journey may be difficult at times, you will reap the reward of utmost satisfaction when holding your nursing diploma for the first time, and nothing will ever compare to the fulfillment that improving and saving the lives of others will bring. And that was by our very own Mikhail Snyder from Nightingale College. And here is our new board. So if we could just have everybody in order, come off mute and say something about themselves. It could be personal, it doesn't have to, it could be educational, just something so we could get to know you and hear your voice and see your face.
You want me to go first, Cassie?
Sure, whoever.
Feel like I'm taking over. But hi, hi, you guys. I am one of the advisors. If you're new to Student Nurses Association, I'm Professor Hall. It is a privilege to be able to serve in this role. I find it just rewarding in that we're able to help create and help mold nursing leaders, which we know are integral as we advance the profession of nursing. I think I can speak for both myself and Professor Wilkinson. We are here to help aid in whatever you guys need. Although this is a learner-led organization, we are here to back you all up. You can feel free to send me a private Teams message if you prefer, or you can even utilize our Student Nurses Association email address or whatever works for you. Just know that we are here to support you in any way that we can. And I look forward to working with you all for the next year.
Well, I'll go ahead and go next. So, as I said, I'm Professor Wilkinson. I have been here with Nightingale for 2.5 years and have been in this role since I guess it was March of 21. I think that's about right. That's about right. Or maybe it was 22. I can't remember. Anyway, as Professor Hall said, we both love doing this. And again, we're not here to, we really don't have a whole lot to do except be here to support all of you. We kind of shine whenever we get to all go to convention, and we all have a good time there. So hopefully a lot of us will get to attend this year. I guess or in 2024, I guess it's in Florida. So hopefully a lot of learners will be able to attend that. And yeah, that's about it. I facilitate 425, BSN 425, which is gerontology. And so yeah, I have either had a lot of you or will be getting a lot of you or currently have some of you. So anyway, look forward to getting to know everybody.
I'll go next. My name is Mary. I am the vice president. I did previously serve as the secretary during the very first year of the NSNA. And I graduate in 33 weeks, and I'm counting every single day right now.
Congratulations, Mary. My name is Tim Swenson. I am the new elected secretary. Not sure where that picture came from, but I like it.
I will
Maybe
tell
I
you,
sent
it came from your Facebook profile on the SNA board thing.
That's a nicely edited photo, huh? About me, I've been in healthcare for 20 years and wanted to pursue my nursing. Now that my children are grown, I'm able to do so. So excited to be here and be a part of this group.
I guess I'll go next. I'm Tatiana. I'm the newly elected treasurer. I'm new to this and I'm excited to learn with all of you. I'll graduate in August of 24, so next year. And I've also been in healthcare evaluating organ tissue and eye donors for the last 18 years. So of course, just wanted to finish my degree and get the RN behind my name.
Okay, and I don't think Robert's here. So I'm Cassie. Last year I was president-elect under Erica, and I was excited for that. So I've been able to be a part of this for 2 years, which is a long time. I mean, other than Mary's, well, this will be her second year too of being part of the board. So it'll be exciting to have some people that have seen it grow and hopefully help it grow more. I have really big goals with it. We'll see what we can do, but I think our board is amazing and we've all been able to meet, which is great, even with everything going on. So I appreciate everybody that's part of this and everybody that's just members and here joining. Here is a little video that we could watch. Please tell me if you guys can't hear it.
Scene 5, take 1. Scene 2, take 1.
Okay.
How you doing? I'm doing great. How are you?
I was a nurse for 41 years.
18 years.
8 years. 13 years.
So I've been a student nurse.
Started out as a nurse's aide.
And I'm a nurse practitioner.
Assistant head nurse.
I've been an ICU nurse.
Head nurse.
Rapid response nurse.
Supervisor.
Critical care transport nurse.
Manager.
I've done so many things. I'm like, ooh.
Nurse, a person who cares for the sick
or infirm.
So would you say that encapsulates everything it is to be a nurse?
Absolutely not.
Nursing is so much broader than that.
Definitely more to it.
I think that we do more than that.
Nurses are caretakers.
Caregivers.
Nurses are workhorses.
Scientists, geniuses,
educators, leaders, trailblazers, and we're entrepreneurs.
Politicians, athletes,
fixers, especially with tape. Mothers, fathers,
sons, daughters.
Nurses are human beings who are
empathetic, kind, underpaid, overworked, and nurses are fabulous.
To me, nurses are just caring people.
Nurses are very powerful.
Powerful.
Protectors.
strong.
It's hard to put what we do into one word.
The small amount of time that I'm able to make a difference in a patient's life really feeds my soul, and there is nothing else I would rather do.
It's so rewarding and joyful when you can get your patient well and send them home to their family. That is like the greatest joy. It's not just a job. It's never just a job. It's really a dedication.
You're always feeling a calling to go and help and treat patients and try to do the best that you can.
There's no greater feeling than doing CPR on a patient and getting a pulse back. It's one of the greatest highs.
The most challenging aspect of being a nurse is knowing that you did everything for the patient, even if the outcome is negative. When the outcome is positive, everybody's happy and smiling. The outcomes are not always positive because that's just life. But you have to know that you did the best that you can.
And then after your shift, you have to go home and, be a father, husband. That's tough.
My first career was on Wall Street. My life changed when I saw the second plane hit on September 11th. And since then, I started thinking about what I would do next to make my life more fulfilling. I will never make the money I made back then, but community and people, I've realized, is more important. I am a second-generation nurse. My mother is a retired nurse. So the feeling of walking across that stage and obtaining my nursing degree definitely hit home for her, and I can see the tears of joy.
I know it sounds kind of cliche, but from the time I was a little girl, I wanted to be a nurse. And when I got into it, I thoroughly loved it. I'm not going to lie and say there weren't hard times and bad times, but I just love being a nurse.
Nurses are more than what you see at the bedside. We do so many things.
As a nursing supervisor in school health, I was at a school and I was dressed similar to the way I am now. And I met with the principal of the school and she says, I've never seen a nurse dressed like you. Most people say, what hospital do you work in? That's been the question I've had all my life. And I said, I haven't worked in a hospital in over 40 years.
We are entrepreneurs, we are leaders.
Nurses, you are powerful.
We have been integral in the shortage of healthcare providers that this country has faced. As nurses, we metaphorically hold the hospital, our patients, and healthcare together.
The greatest part of being a nurse was just taking care of my patients, being there for them, just to help them, and just to advocate for them.
Nurses are friends to the patients as well as the families and to each other.
How long have you known each other for?
A long time.
We are friends forever. We're sisters. The bond that we have, no one could take away.
Teamwork is very important.
We need to collaborate with the doctors, the respiratory therapists, family members, the pharmacists. There's a lot of teamwork involved with being a nurse.
That's a camaraderie with nurses, and that's what I had. We were all just there for each other, and we have each other's backs.
Happy Nurses Week!
This Nurses Week,
Nurse Journal is celebrating what it truly means to be a nurse.
Because nurses are so much more than just
caregivers at the bedside.
Because a nurse is never just a nurse. Sky's the limit. There's so much we can do, and I don't think that we all as a community know the power that we have in healthcare.
I love being a nurse. I love what I do. I love taking care of patients. I love taking care of their families. I can't see myself doing any other profession.
Becoming a nurse and going to nursing school, I learned a lot about myself, who I was, and even today, I learn something new every day. I feel like I made the best decision ever.
And it's not an easy trek, it's not an easy job, but we do it because we know we have to do it, and we want to do it because it's a job that has to be done. I'm proud to be a nurse. Once a nurse, always a nurse.
Okay. I saw that in the chat. we could thank Mary. She actually put together the slideshow. I just edited things and added information. So thank you, Mary. That was amazing. And I can't wait till I could take down all my Post-it notes and put those things instead of like stuff to study. There's your daily recharge.
I'm actually going to say this, Professor Wilkinson, you gave me that motivation for this video from something we were talking about a while ago. So I was like, you know what, nurses, we're more than just the school. We're more than bedside. We're more than everything. So I was like, that video, I needed that because it was bad last semester.
It was great. This was a really, really perfect video. So good for you. Thanks for sharing this.
At the perfect time, starting a new semester, being very overwhelmed within the first few days, most of us. Okay, so we're going to give some updates, new news, old news, that sort of stuff. So for dues, we have not started then. Tatiana and I are getting together actually Monday at the bank to sign on that. And hopefully we'll be able to start having a place for everybody to pay by the beginning of October. With that being said, we're going to try to offer a varieties of ways to pay. I know that Tatiana said we can mail checks to her, or we could do Venmo, whatever works for everybody. Apple Pay, Zelle. There's a million ways, and we'll just figure out to get it all the ways we can to make it work for everybody. We don't want it to be an issue. Nobody needs any extra stress right now. And then the points, we've talked about it before. And I'm just going to do a quick review of what we've kind of discussed. And hopefully that will go into play next month. Hopefully dues and the point system will both go into play. But basically, as learners, we want to get people more involved. And in order to do that, we're going to give points for coming to these meetings. For being on camera, you can get extra points because I like to see everybody's faces since I can't see them in a classroom every day. And you get points for doing anything extra. So volunteering in the community, just let us know. We're going to do points for that. And there's some other opportunities within the club that are coming up that you can get points for. So if we have a committee and you want to lead a certain committee, all sorts of stuff. Sorry about all my ums, you guys. I hate public speaking, and I feel like I'm using it a lot. There it goes again. So then we've also decided that we're going to do a student-led open office hours. And either myself or one of the other board members will be on this specific team's chat every Monday from 9 to 10, just open for questions. If you have questions about the club, if you have questions, about school, we could help lead you in the right direction to get answers. Like, I'm not saying we know stuff, but we could help get you to where you need to go. Just anything, even if honestly, if you are in a spot you just need to talk to somebody, if you need a referral to somebody, or I actually just took the grit training. I don't know if anybody's heard about that, but it's like within the community, kind of helping get people to the right resources if they're under stress. So it's really make it what it is. It's kind of like a mentorship. If you have questions about, how do I log on to a webinar? Maybe we can help you, maybe we can't, but we can get you to the right direction. And as leaders and almost nurses, this is a lot of stuff that a lot of us need to work on for both sides. I need to work on my leadership skills. And so I need you guys to come and ask me questions, or other board members, but really just trying to help connect dots and fill in gaps where we can. If, like I said, we won't be able to answer everything, but we could hopefully lead you in the direction to get the correct answers from whatever your question is. And we'll start that this Monday. Like I said, bi-weekly if we decide to go monthly, or every week, depending on how much it's actually used. I'll just be there, and if people want to pop in and ask questions, I'll just do schoolwork if nobody shows up, but I'll be there either way. Also, spotlights are coming back. They're going to be a little different than they were previously, and we will have some of the same things where nurses will get on and talk about their specific nursing, but we're also going to have past students get on and talk about, life after we get our diploma, because I don't know about anybody else, but I think I'm more nervous about getting my diploma, because then what do I do? You know I have to take this big test, but what happens? I get that diploma and then what? So we'll have past students come on. We'll have some teachers come on, different people. We could even have current students that maybe are working in in a facility come on and talk about stuff. So if any of you have anybody that would like to be in the spotlight, or if you would like to be in the spotlight, feel free, contact Mary is the one that's going to kind of get those on the calendar for us. And I believe right now, do you have one set up already?
I'm in the process of one right now. It is with the Nightingale professor. I just gotta kind of coordinate with like what we're gonna like kind of her guidelines, like what she's gonna do, what she'll present.
Okay. Are we hoping to do that one within the next month?
Yeah, that's my goal is for this month.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So as soon as we get that information, we will send it out. We'll also put on social media. With that, we are also hoping to start a newsletter that may just be bi-monthly in the beginning, but to also get to those learners that maybe aren't on social media like myself, because social media would just suck me up and spit me out, and I would probably not do well in school. So I don't allow myself to have social media while I'm in school. So I don't see everything, and so I miss a lot if I'm not on Teams all the time. So we are going to try to get a newsletter set up going out as well. And then we're going to try to see if anybody would be interested in some student-led study groups. I love study groups. We can make it, we can make it a separate Teams thing, but, some of our members could lead it if they wanted to. We could go over HESI questions. We could, it'd be very general. If there's a certain class, it may help connect some students that are in the same classes if they need help with specific things. If there's an interest in that, please go ahead and put it in this chat or email me or really any of the board members, and we could try to figure that out. I personally would like it just because it does make me focus and it gets conversations started that I feel like right now I only get when I'm in a clinical day. I feel like that's where I struggle the most is I need conversations with other learners about questions to like bounce off ideas of why I got it wrong or why they got it wrong or why I got it right. Sometimes the rationales and questions still don't make sense unless somebody else reads it to me. And then fundraising ideas. So I would like to get some fundraising going because I feel like that's really going to help when it comes to our point system, when it comes to, in the future, I would really like to help pay a part of people's, if they're going to convention, maybe a part of their convention fees and stuff, just to really get more people involved. And, we want to be able to buy stoles for people when they graduate and really grow this club. And by those things, that's really going to help. One of the ideas that I had was to have a table at the semi-annual convention. I have some stuff that I was just going to donate. Like I have so much stuff to make t-shirts. I was going to do a t-shirt business a while back. So I was just going to make some shirts and donate them and think we could sell them for $10, but that $10 would all go right back to the club. My biggest problem that I foresee with that is not having enough people to sit at the table because we have to have somebody there managing it. So with that being said, we'll go over mid-year convention in a few, but just think in your head, if you're planning on going, would you be willing to take a couple hour shift here or there just to see if we could do anything with that? That's just the quickest way I think we could get that going. Another thing is to do a virtual 5K. And it would actually be great because it would go right at the same time as the walkathon. So basically, and I've done these before, people pay like $20 to do a 5K. They time themselves. It's an honor system. Whoever, say if they paid $20 to do it. Whoever wins then would get an award. We could get a medal. We could buy a medal with some of the money. Maybe that $20 buys them a t-shirt. Once again, I could easily make a virtual t-shirts for that, and we could just mail them out. Those are my ideas. So any other ideas are welcome. I just thought those would be easy. And, if there's only 10 people that did the 5K and we charged $15, the only money would be out is to buy medals for the winner. So think about fundraising ideas that won't cost a fortune, and that we can open up to people that aren't part of our club too, right? So think about things that wouldn't cost a lot. I'm also willing to go and try to get donations from like my local scrub stores, stuff like that, to try to do drawings if people want to buy like, I know we can't, I know there's certain terms we can use, so I don't know if we could use the term raffle ticket, or I think that's right. Can we use raffle ticket? Does anybody know? We just can't use
I think we have to say
donation. Okay. So you
yeah,
get your name
something
in a
along those.
hat for a donation. Okay.
Yeah,
Whatever it is.
yeah,
So
yeah.
a $5 donation would get your name to possibly be picked or whatever. I knew there was play on words there. I just can't remember. So those are a few of my ideas. Does anybody else have any ideas, or would anybody want to even take on being part of a board for that? We could put it out there and see. I know a lot of people don't join these meetings, but read the information afterwards. So something to start thinking about, and maybe by next meeting, we could have something set up or somebody wanting to help.
I love the t-shirt idea. I know when we were at the annual conference, they were selling like hotcakes. So being creative and what words we can use, or necklaces or cups. I mean, us nurses, we
Yeah.
like things like that. So
Right.
I
I
think that's
came
great.
home. I came home with a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, and then a child's t-shirt and a baby a onesie. It said my mom is a nurse for our little granddaughter who's getting ready to be born in October. So things like that really do, are the friend that we met, the other another faculty that Professor Hall and I met there, her school. Remember, they were selling the big RN sweatshirt, and it was it's my favorite sweatshirt. I love it now. So, but yeah, and nurses, yeah, we love cups and pens and notepads and all that stuff that just what we do. So,
I
Okay.
have
So
t-shirt supplies. I have t-shirt supplies as well because we own a t-shirt business, so that would work too. I can help with
oh,
that.
perfect. Yeah, that's great. I think that really would be, and because we could do them for a reasonable price, because hello, they are students, right? But we really wouldn't have to put out anything for those. So my whole thing is if we could just take shifts managing the store, whoever goes to that. And the other thing with mid-year is I know last year at mid-year, there was not very many people selling them, so they'd probably sell even better than they would at annual because you're not going to have as much competition.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And then the last thing is the mid-year convention. So we have some information here. And Mary, do you want to read this since you wrote it up?
Sure. So basically we want you to, if you can, join us at the 41st Mid-Year Conference. It is November 2nd to the 5th. It will be in San Diego, California. So hopefully our California learners can join us because it's in your area. The mid-year does include a live NCLEX review. I will say from personal experience, I've attended 3 of them through NSNA, and they are very, very helpful. There's different panels of nursing specialties. I think one I attended was an emergency nursing and flight nursing. There was also correctional nursing, and they're all from all over the country. Workshops, networking with other students. I got to meet students from all over the country, so I really like it. Also, it also helps if you're looking for leadership opportunities, just not even within Nightingale. If you want to do something in your local area, and they're going to be doing the board of directors of the national level. We'll get to meet them, nominating elections committee and the resolutions chair, which they meet together, I believe, in November, start all the resolutions that the NSNA delegates will vote on in April in Orlando. Also, it does give you an opportunity to join the Leadership U Honor Society, which is an honor society just for NSNA members only.
Thank you, Mary. With that, I wanted to let everybody know that the fees for the actual conference, this doesn't include any travel or anything, but it's $75 for conference only. Right now, these fees go up. I believe it's at the end of this month. $80 for NCLEX review only. So you could do either or only, but it's just $95 to do both. So if you're swaying of thinking about doing one or the other, if you can afford it, I would do both. Like Mary said, I swear that the NCLEX review is the reason why I pass every time, because then I go home, you get a great PowerPoint afterwards, you go home, you can go over the questions, and the review is by one of the authors of one of the big NCLEX review books. So she knows her stuff. I think she sits on the board for NCLEX too. I believe so. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe she does. So I don't know if anybody's planning on joining, but if you can send me a message. If you are, I'm going to start a separate chat. I'm going, well, as long as I did put in for those days off from my DFCs. And I know that doesn't always happen, but I do have my airfare already. So, but if you're planning on going, let me know. I had a conversation with a couple people this morning of a hotel versus VRBOs. If I have enough people that are going for sure, I'll look at VRBOs or a bigger VRBO, because I've looked at them from 2 people to 6 people. I mean, I don't know who's going. Some people have family they want to stay with, but if you want to go, let's get a chat going so we know who's going. We know who's looking for places to stay still. And if I could get a place booked sooner than later. And I know the hotel, you only get the hotel deal until like, I think it's September 26th or something. So, because they do have pretty deep discounts on the hotel. I think the rooms are still $189 a night, but generally speaking, the rooms I think are about double that. So if you're going to go or you're thinking about it, please send me a message as soon as possible. It'll come upon us quick, and by the time the October meeting gets here, I will have booked someplace at least to stay. So this is just some changes. Now these changes I think I've gone over most of them today, but I want to go over them again to make sure there's no questions and make them very clear. Okay, for one, we haven't announced this, but monthly meetings will always be held on the first Thursday at 1 p.m. At least this year and hopefully going forward. That will change if it's a national holiday. That's the only time, and we'll probably just cancel unless we have something we need to talk about. And the reason I want to do this is because in the past we have changed it because of HESIs or because maybe it's a week off from school, but it screws everybody's schedule up. And I never made the meetings then, and then it screws up the link in Teams, but I just think we just need to keep it the same. If people can't make it, we do understand. And if it's one of those times, you're not going to be held accountable for not making it. These meetings are always recorded. So I just wanted to make that clear. Like, we're not going to change them, even if it's HESI week, because it's 1 hour of the week, basically. That's why I say that. The point system for your involvement of the club, it doesn't mean you have to get points. It just means that we want to start buying stoles and we want to start helping people within the club that are active. And this is our way to verify activity. The dues, once again, that goes for helping to purchase stoles or helping pay maybe a portion away to people that could go to the conventions. So if you cannot pay the dues, we're not going to kick you out of the club. We can have fee waivers. You're going to have to email us and let us know that there's circumstances that you can't pay right now. And we understand. And then we are also trying to get more ways to be involved, such as the study groups, the time that we're having live, the spotlight. And we really, really, really would love anybody's input on anything that they have about anything that you could do to be more involved. Professor Hall?
Yeah, and just to add on what Cassie was saying with the point systems and community service, it can also show as a form of community service when you're applying for scholarships and or getting ready to go into the workforce. There's documentation to help back it up if Professor Wilkinson or myself have to provide a recommendation letter for you, just to show that you are truly active within the club.
Timothy, go ahead. I hate when people raise their hands, by the way. It makes me feel like a teacher.
So my question would be is how do we get tracking for that? Who's going to track? And is there a form?
There is a form. The board will have to approve it, and then we'll talk about the logistics on who will manage all of that. But there is a form that I created, and we can just go over it, and then we'll bring it back to the general meeting so everyone will be able to see it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else have any questions or things they would like to see change? Okay, if you think of anything later, please email me, send it to the Teams chat, Teams me. I want to see changes. I want to see this thing grow. And because we are virtual, it's a little different. You know, eventually it'd be nice if people that were in near areas could have meetups and stuff. So just anything you could see, even if it's future out, please send us and we'll write it down and get it out there. So stuff we can start thinking about. The walkathon. So some people have probably already registered, some people haven't. We can put together a team if we wanted to. It's a great way to be way more involved with the school. It's fun every week to see what teams are doing what, how many steps people are getting in. And I just think it really makes the school feel more real. Like I said, like that whole real feeling. So if anybody wants to join, I've already joined, and I think I've already joined a team that I think it was like a local team, but we have in the past done SNA teams. It's also a way, you know, earning points towards your stuff. So I think that if anybody wants to do it, send a message and we could figure out who's doing it. Or I think that my team even still had some open spaces. So if you haven't signed up, let us know. If we need to make a team, please also let us know. Any questions about that, or anybody want to join that hasn't joined? Or
Sarah, I have one. Can we as faculty join, or is this just a learner-led thing? Because I'm getting my steps in. I'm excited.
Unfortunately, no. We used to have the faculty and staff be able to join, but to be transparent, they kind of made it a little bit difficult or a little bit difficult to work with. But I love that you're getting your steps in.
Gotcha.
But we, I think they might try to do something around the same time. So last year, you know, like the Wellevate thing that we have, like with insurance, they kind of did a walkathon at the same time. So they might do that again.
Okay, awesome.
you guys should do it so it's like faculty versus students.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be fun. So maybe you faculty,
I'm a little low, but I'm trying to get my life.
You could just go against us. We could just tell you what ours are. It'll be all of us against you. Okay, but that's a great thing. So
I'll
be
do
involved.
it for fluidity.
Okay, and now we have a couple NCLEX questions to go over. Okay, Professor Hall.
Ready for me? All right, you guys. I know it's week 1, but for those of you who've had me, I say to start studying for HESI week 2. So let's get it. After receiving a handoff report, which client should the nurse see first? All right, we're thinking first, most important. I want you guys to think about priority wise. So airway, breathing, circulation. If that does not apply, we want to think about Maslow. If that doesn't apply, we think about safety. So our answer choices are a client awaiting discharge instructions and intravenous line removal. B, a client who has been incontinent is asking for help to the restroom. C, a client who has pneumonia who complains about using the incentive spirometer. Or is it D, a client admitted for gastrointestinal bleed with a stable hemoglobin and hematocrit? Ooh, all right. Who would you all see first? Also, some other principles to think about while you're trying to finagle through this. Always think about acute versus chronic. I want to see the person who is experiencing acute problems first. I always think about too the stable versus unstable as well. All right. And what is their disease process that they are experiencing? Will we see all of these clients? Absolutely. Yes. But first, all right, who would you want to see? Now that you seem like they're okay, right? It's okay. Put an answer in the chat for me. This is a safe space, you guys. All right, we see C and D and B. Oh, I like it. We got a plethora of answer choices here. Uh, Cassie, would you move to the actual answer and rationale? Drum roll, drum roll. BRC. It is D. All right. So, guys, we're talking about GI bleeding, and what do we automatically antiquate it with? When we think of bleeding, I want you guys to consider that of the C part of the prioritization of airway, breathing, circulation. All right. So remember, with bleeding, we are concerned about a perfusion issue, and we know if they bleed out too much, that's not good, because remember, blood's job is also to help carry that of oxygen and nutrients as well. And the thing is, if with GI bleed, some people have them for a while before things start to go down, but it can become a medical emergency. So we just want to go in and put eyes on them to make sure that they're okay, because there are ways that we can fix that GI bleed. Something as simple as even fluid resuscitation can be able to help them in that particular crisis. Okay. So that is why that answer is correct versus the others. Good job. Did that make sense to everybody? Yeah. Awesome. All right. Next question. All right. The nurse is caring for a child with a fracture. Those of you who love peds, here you go. Who has been placed in skeletal traction. All right. The nurse would monitor for the most serious complication associated with this type of traction by assessing which specific finding. All right. We're talking about skeletal traction here. Is it a lack of appetite, B, an elevated temperature, C, a decrease in urinary output, or would it be D, an increase in the blood pressure? What would we be most concerned about here? Okay, in this particular case. Hey guys, what they are trying to get you to figure out, if you're not familiar with here, when you guys get to the ortho portion of your course, I would draw a big line down the middle of the page. All right, on one side you're going to focus on skeletal traction, and on the other side you're going to focus on skin traction, and compare and contrast the two, because there are some vast differences here. Ooh, I like where you got to. Okay, decrease urinary output. I like what you because we always talk about that, right? But I want you guys to equate it back to that of skeletal traction. Cassie, if you would go to the answer, it is B. All right. And B, guys, was, if you look back, it was that of an increased temperature. Okay. So when we talk about skeletal traction, I want you guys to prioritize, as far as disease management, that of osteomyelitis. Okay. So if we break down that term osteomyelitis, we know that that is infection of the bone. All right. And so what essentially happens here with skeletal traction, we have those good old pins. All right. And so what happens is those pins are helping create that stability and getting able to get the bone to be able to fuse back together. And so you really, if you are not familiar with it, I want you guys to go over pin care, because we see that a lot. Okay. So being able to differentiate, is this something that is expected, or is this something abnormal? We know that an elevated temperature indicates that there's some type of infection and we have to be able to treat that. And so then you would also look at other things like if they had drainage, okay, what are the different types of drainages that you would be concerned about? I see a little clear drainage, it's all right with me, okay? But if I start to see other things, okay, I know I definitely would have to focus on it. Go ahead, Professor.
And I did peds for 20 years, and I've taken care of a lot of kids in the hospital that were on skeletal traction. Those pin or infections at the pin sites are really nasty, and they can come on very quickly sometimes. That's why when if you are ever taking care of a patient, whether it's a child or an adult with skeletal traction, you really, really, really have to be thorough in changing the dressings, checking the sites, cleaning them. They'll have, I'm sure I haven't done this for 25 years, so I'm sure maybe the protocol has changed as far as what you clean them with, but the point is that it can happen very, very quickly. And it is a big concern when you've got skeletal traction. So
Very big. Thank you, Professor. And guys, look out for those normal things when we think about infection. That's why it's important to be able to indicate those signs and symptoms. So getting your subjective and that objective data, just pain in general, and we know they're going to hurt. They're in skeletal traction, right? But we look for swelling and warmth, tenderness, and odor plays a huge part too when we talk about that drainage. And guys, we can also spin this in, but it's not listed. Think about your labs and what labs may indicate that there's some type of infection as well. All right, Cassie, the next one. All right. The nurse is assessing the casted, guys, we're doing ortho today, casted extremity of a client for signs of infection. Which finding is indicative of the presence of an infection? All right. A, dependent edema. B, diminished distal pulse. C, coolness and pallor of the skin. Or would it be D, presence of warm areas on the cast? All right, guys, I see three things with these answer choices. Three things are very close to one another, and we have one complete opposite. So what the test writer is trying to get you to figure out, all right, which one is infection and which one indicates that there is a perfusion issue if you haven't been able to make that correlation, all right? So which finding is indicative of the presence of an infection? All right. We see a lot of kids and adults with cast, but we have to be careful with that. All right. So, guys, also make sure that you look over cast care. I see a lot of NCLEX questions based on that. So, what do you guys think about this? All right. Okay. I like you guys. All right. Um, Cassie, if you go to the correct answer, which is that of D. All right. Guys, with cast, hot spots, what we call them, can we don't like them, okay? All right. So we can look at them having that drainage, getting an odor, and we always feel for warmth, that temperature, and we know heat can indicate that of an infection. All of the other options, guys, they were all circulation. So we're talking about perfusion, which is important. But if you go back and look at the stem of the question, it was asking for identification of that of infection. Okay.
And just a tip, for test taking tips is if you get to a question like this, like Tim did, he put D or A. Um, uh, One thing you can always do, doesn't work every time, but it's a pretty good tip. If you see answers that, like in that question, that there were three answers that seemed to be very closely related, and indicative of a circulatory issue, but then there's that one outlier. Well, it can only be one answer, right? So if you see things that are close together, then if you have to make an educated guess, go with the one that doesn't go along with the majority. Okay. And that was a great example of a question that if you were really confused and just didn't know what to do, if you could at least piece together that what was it, A, B, and C, were similar. What? Or wait, I don't even remember what the answer was now. Wasn't it?
It was D, infection.
Yeah, it was
but
D,
yeah,
right. So that
hot
A, B,
and
and
warm.
C, yeah. So
Yep.
just try to look at that, those two to see if you can put any of that together if you are struggling. And by the time a cast gets warm, that's a pretty bad infection, because think about what it's got to go through. If we can feel that warmth on a cast that's on your skin, that's a pretty bad infection potentially.
Pretty terrible.
So
Yep. All right, last question. Russell's traction is prescribed for a child with a lower leg fraction. The mother of the child asks the nurse the purpose of the traction. Okay. Remember, patient education plays a huge part with peds, is child and parent. The nurse explains to the mother that the type of traction used is primarily for which purpose? Is it A, to help relieve that of the child's pain? Is it B, to reduce or realign a fracture site? Is it C, to provide a form of restraint for the child? And is it D, to keep the child from moving around in bed? We're talking about Russell's traction. All right. And one just kind of jumps out at me that I know I don't like. Okay. And I think you guys picked up on that too.
right.
Oh, gosh. All right. B, you guys are going with B. All right. For sake of time, you guys, we only got a couple of minutes. Cassie, do you want to go ahead to the answer? B is correct, you guys. Good job with that. So
We don't
Russell's
restrain
traction is
children.
actually, yeah,
We
no,
don't
that was
restrain
the
them.
one that
We
stick
may
out
want
like
to sometimes, but we do not do that.
like yucky, yucky. Russell's traction is actually a form of skin traction. And with this, you guys, we're looking at a pulleys and rope system. Okay, so a difference again between that of skin versus skeletal. Skeletal, we're looking at those pins. So I will tell you there are a lot of questions built around this form of traction as well, in regards to how do we provide safety interventions with those pulleys and ropes, because they are there, right? So we don't want to create any additional pain. But what it does is it helps with the realignment of fractures to help keep the immobilization. And then we just let gravity do its thing. Okay. All right. That's it for me, Cassie.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions today? If not, I'll go over any questions. Okay. Hold on, let's see here. Our next meeting is October 5th at 1. And thank you for coming today. And I did want to let everybody know there's a couple things that get your flu shots if you haven't gotten your flu shots, because I haven't got mine. So I'm reminding you because I haven't got mine. Make sure your Complete is up to date. September 11th is National, it's not Volunteer Day, it's another term, but it's a good time to volunteer. So I'm actually going 2.5 hours from home this weekend, going to Pueblo and volunteering at Convoy for Hope. So that will be fun. So get your volunteering in. And there's one of, they're also starting, it's going to open up for the NSNA's what is it called? When they give you money, what's that called for school? I can't think of the word. Scholarships. So start thinking about that now. And once again, this will really come in handy with our point system, so the teachers know who to write recommendation letters for within our club. But they have given, I think, 3 people in our club in the past 2 years money. So, and I think they're the only 3 people that maybe even applied, to be perfectly honest. So apply. They give out hundreds of them. And that's open till January, but go on their website, start seeing what you need, because that opens up in the next week or 2. So, and the teachers need time to write letters if they need to do so. So I think that's all of my announcements. Other than
I was
that,
going to say real quick for the scholarship, they do, if you win one, your incentive to go to Orlando, they will recognize you as one of the winners. You get a private, I think, meetup or lunch with your scholarship sponsor. And your face will probably end up on NSA's website. Heads up on that.
So that's exciting. I mean, who doesn't want their face on everything? Especially when it's as beautiful as all of ours. So Is there any other questions or anything that I can answer? Okay.
Thank you for all the work you guys have put into this.
Oh, thank you all. We didn't have
Well
such an
done,
amazing
Cassie.
board.
Well
Yeah,
done.
this was awesome. Awesome
Very
meeting,
well
you
done.
guys.
I'm
Awesome
working
meeting.
on my leadership skills and the ums.
You got it.
You're doing just fine.
Okay. So we'll see you all next month. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, like I said, I'll be available Monday, or just email us or anything, whether it's the walkathon or anything about the semi-annual.
And one quick thing for those that are here, tell your friends to join. We would love to
Yes.
have more people in involvement here. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.